Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of High Energy Keto Girl. And today we are going to do a solo-sode where I am going to talk about strength training and about hypertrophy training because I get a lot of questions about that and I really want to explain the difference. Hey everyone, welcome to High Energy Keto Girl, a podcast helping women to age stronger because it is never too late to get fit, be strong, and feel sexy. I'm your host, Tracee Gluhite, health coach and personal trainer and founder of highenergygirl.com. Each week, we will either have a guest interview, which will provide you encouragement or an actionable tip to help you age stronger, or I will do a solo episode. Please also join our awesome Facebook group called High Energy Girls, and I'm looking forward to see you on the inside of that group and hope you enjoy today's show. Hey everyone, this is Tracee, and I have a special announcement. In order for me to help more women age stronger, I have created a 90-day one-on-one coaching program. And the goal here is to teach women over 50 how to age stronger while burning fat and boosting energy without going hungry or living in the gym. If you'd like more information, please hit me up at Tracee@highenergygirl.com or friend me on Facebook and send me a message. I have a goal of transforming 1,000 women in the next year, and I hope you are one of them. Hey girls, I just wanted to teach you a little lesson about strength training versus hypertrophy training, and which one do you feel is right for you? After listening to the differences, you will be able to assess which one you prefer. Your body will go where your mind goes. So strength training versus hypertrophy training. When it comes to the world of fitness training and exercise, we no doubt have heard of strength training before, right? But what is hypertrophy? And have you ever even heard that term before? Well, today we are going to look at strength training and hypertrophy training, describing each one for what they are. This exploration will help you answer the question, which is the right for you? So hypertrophy. We talk about muscle hypertrophy when we are talking about the growth and increase of muscle cells and their size. Muscular hypertrophy occurs usually as a result of doing physical exercises such as weightlifting. When you start exercising your muscles, first there will be an increase in the nerve impulses, which will cause your muscles to contract. This in itself will result in strength gain, even though you don't see much difference in the muscle size. But as you continue with your exercising, an interaction of the responses of the nervous system results in, over months, an increase in protein synthesis. And that's when the muscle cells start to get stronger and larger. Two essential components are necessary for muscles to grow: stimulation as well as repair. The stimulation part occurs when the muscles are contracting or when you are actually exercising the muscle. Every time you exercise the muscles, then contraction occurs. Repeat contractions during your workouts will cause damage to the muscle fibers internally. The muscle fibers get broken down during the course of your workout, and once they're damaged, they get ready to repair themselves. This is when and where you will notice muscle growth occurring. This repair of the muscle fiber usually occurs after your workout when your muscles are in resting mode. New fibers will be produced to help to repair and also replace the damaged ones. More fibers will even be produced to make up for the damaged ones, and this is what causes muscle growth. The whole process of hypertrophy is the same for everybody, but in saying that, the results will probably be different from others who are doing the same workouts as you. These differences are due to the genetic makeup of each person's muscles. Some people, when doing hypertrophy training, will show results much faster than others. The appearance and shape of muscles also factors that are genetically based. Maybe you are desperate to have round, plump biceps and you notice yours don't look anything like the person that started at the same time as you, but actually the shape of the muscles is determined by the muscle tendon length, and tendon length is a genetic factor. If you want bigger muscles, it is better that you have shorter muscle tendons. If someone has very long muscle tendons, they might see less growth in muscle shaping than those with the shorter muscle tendons, even though both are doing the same weightlifting. What are the exercises to be done for muscle hypertrophy? It is exercise which leads to muscle growth. Exercises for muscle hypertrophy are ones that contract the muscles repeatedly against resistance. There are a variety of methods of weight training which make use of exercise machines, free weights, resistance bands, and body weight exercise. There are also different training regimes where you vary the load weight and the number of repetitions, as well as the rest intervals between the sets of repetitions. They all have their own proponents, but the end results might depend a lot on the dedication you put into your workouts, but also on your body type as well. There are many reasons why people want to build muscle in a gym or at home. Some want it for strength, some want it for health reasons, and others definitely go into it for the aesthetic purposes. Maybe you just want to increase your metabolic weight and at the same time lose some body fat. Before you consider doing hypertrophy training, however, you should assess your posture, technique, basic fitness, cardiovascular health, and flexibility, as these things impact safety and success greatly. Without that solid foundation, all your aspirations might be short-lived and you might even experience fatigue and injury and just want to give up before you even reach your gains. If we are going to take it a bit further, hypertrophy can be divided into two types. One is myofibrillar hypertrophy and the other is sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Myofibrillar basically helps you get strong, while sarcoplasmic increases the volume of fluid in your muscles, which, to put it simply, expands the muscle, making it look big. But read about both of them moving forward. So are there benefits to doing hypertrophy? Definitely you get bigger muscles. When the muscles are constantly stimulated in training, you start packing on the size. You experience increased power and strength. With this extra strength and power, you will find you have a greater capacity to do your workouts. And another great benefit is you will notice that you will use up more calories. When you think about weight loss and gain, it really is all about the number of calories that go into your body, whether you take it in by eating or drinking. How are these calories utilized? Calories are utilized only through physical activity and exercise. When you amp up your training, you're going to burn more calories, which aids in weight loss. Besides, muscle is metabolically active tissue, which means you need more calories just to maintain it. How do I include hypertrophy into my training? You need to increase the intensity of your exercises so that your body grows muscles. It's not going to really help if you just continue to do your regular sets of squats at 100 pounds, for instance. After a while, your muscles just adjust and get used to the same routines, and they're not being challenged anymore to trigger a response. With hypertrophy, you need to make your exercises harder each week, then the muscles are constantly stimulated in training, and you will start packing on the size. As mentioned above, there are two types of hypertrophy, myofibrillar and sarcoplasmic. If you want to achieve the sarcoplasmic type of hypertrophy, then you need to aim for low weight and high reps, because the focus with sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is on muscle endurance as opposed to muscle strength. With myofibrillar hypertrophy, your priority is strength, where you advocate high weight and low reps. The need for rest time. You shouldn't train the same muscle groups twice in a row. If you are training properly, your muscle tissue will need to repair and recover. When you work on your arms often, you are not going to get them growing faster. You might even experience the opposite effect and even slow down the growth process you want to see. You need to ensure that you give your muscles at least a day of rest in between your hypertrophy workouts, preferably two. Then you will get the most out of your training. And do your cardio as well. Lots of people reckon that if you want to build muscle, then stay away from doing cardio. But there's so many benefits to cardio, and contrary to common belief, you can do cardio yet retain muscle gain. When you include low-intensity cardio, such as walking, you help to combat fatigue and allow your muscles to recover. You just don't want to overdo it. Muscle growth doesn't just happen overnight. It actually takes a lot of dedication and time. You have to push yourself consistently, continually challenging yourself, and trigger muscle growth. Sleep plays a major role in hypertrophy training as well. You need to get enough rest to allow your body to recover fully. When you don't get enough sleep, you will find it detrimental to your progress. You need to take care of both your mental and physical health, and this will enable your body to function at its highest level. Training your body to increase muscle size isn't really easy. Trying to convince your body to sustain the higher levels of muscle mass requires application, planning, and effort. If you want to increase the size, you need to carefully think about what the training stimulus is, ensuring you have appropriate nutrition and recovery plans in place. Let's talk about strength training. So strength training is often referred to as resistance training. Strength training involves the progressive use of resistive loads and various training modalities, which are meant to promote fitness, health, and sports performance. So why is strength training important? First of all, strength training makes you strong in a few ways. It builds muscle tissue and it improves inter and intramuscular coordination so that you can coordinate all moving parts. You will see how quickly you generate force to move against resistance. It strengthens your tendons, making your muscles bigger. It preserves and enhances muscle mass as well as your metabolic rate. It improves your bone density. It improves insulin sensitivity and glucose tolerance. It lowers the risk of injury to yourself. And it improves your ability to do all your daily activities. It improves your balance, your self-esteem. It enhances endurance, strength, speed, power, and agility. It improves your overall body composition. It decreases bad cholesterol levels and also blood pressure. It improves your aerobic capacity. When you maintain muscle mass with strength training, you can help to prevent some rampant health conditions, including diabetes and obesity. Can anyone do it? Some time ago, strength training was mainly used when athletes wanted to enhance their performance and increase their muscle size. But these days, it is recognized as imperative to your health and fitness, regardless of your age, your ability, and your gender. In fact, leading health organizations, including the NSCA and ACSM, recommend regular resistance training as part of a fitness regime. Anyone can strength train. It's suitable for men, women, older people, younger people, even people with disabilities or mobility limitations. And did you know that the residual effects of doing strength training can last you up to 72 hours? But when we talk about strength training, a lot of people just think about dumbbells and barbells, like moving weights around the gym. But actually, strength training is not just limited to barbells and dumbbells or even powerlifting. You could actually do strength training with a multitude of tools, even with just your body weight to a certain extent. If your goal is to increase your strength, then the barbells are still a pretty good idea. Those squats that you do, the deadlifts, the overhead presses, the bench presses, all these provide a foundation for developing strength. There are reasons why they are spoken of as the basics of strength training and why learning to lift weights well is really the most effective way you can go if you want to develop physical strength. Basic barbells actually train the body because they demand high levels of coordination, mobility, flexibility, intensity, body awareness, balance, and speed. Your body is going to change through exercise. It will change in a performance and appearance. That means you need to train your nervous system to adapt to the work for your muscles to produce force. It gives your body better coordination with your nervous system responding to proper strength training by increasing the ability to produce force. The muscles are therefore contracted further so that you end up with stronger bones. Is there a difference, though, between strength training and hypertrophy training? As we mentioned above, hypertrophy means growth. With strength training, you work on making yourself stronger, making your whole body stronger, like how much weight you are able to move in a single repetition. With hypertrophy training, it is more about the size of your muscles. Naturally, with strength training, some muscle will come, but not the muscles you are used to seeing in fitness magazines. Those guys and girls with the full muscled bellies get that from hypertrophy training. Scientifically, the difference in strength training and hypertrophy training is that your muscles are just like tiny cables that intertwine to make one big muscle. The little cables are called sarcomeres. With strength training, you stress the sarcomeres to their breaking point to make one big wire. At the breaking point, they set out to heal and become even stronger, growing in the process. With hypertrophy training, your goal is to push yourself with the weights, taking the heavy weights to your body and stressing it. You want to stress the muscle, working it, burning energy. This will send blood and oxygen flooding to the muscle and pump it. That's why those big guys with the muscles might not be as strong as the smaller guys doing strength training, just because their training is different. Can you do strength training and hypertrophy training together? The whole point of hypertrophy is to increase your muscle size. The whole point of strength training is to maximize your muscle strength in relation to your build and your skeletal structure. Both of these two different types of training produce different results, but when worked thoughtfully together, they can complement each other. If you're looking to increase your overall fitness, your strength, and your athleticism, you can do both strength training and hypertrophy training together. However way you decide to train, you will still need to ask yourself what your goals are. Do you want to be able to be really strong and move more weight? Do you actually want to lose weight as well? Maybe your goal is to help your physique look at its best, developing and improving it. Maybe you're an athlete, you want to improve on your athleticism. You can see that there are actually many reasons why a person suddenly decides to start training. All have different goals, so you need to decide what your reason for training is. If you want to move more weights, then strength training is probably for you. Both strength training and hypertrophy training will influence the type of weights you use and the repetitions. Besides that, there are still a whole lot of other factors that will contribute to improving on your overall fitness. Take, for instance, flexibility. Flexibility isn't likely a reason you would want to start training, but if you haven't got it, you increase your risk of injury. Lots of people say that the best strategy for training is really strength training mixed with high-intensity interval training, but that is for you to decide. You will find for yourself what works best for you and what your own personal goals are. Sometimes training in just the one dimension might expose weaknesses which can lead to injury. Here are some pros and cons of both strength training and hypertrophy training. Each one is valuable and each one has its own place. For strength training, if you want to reduce body fat, burn calories, and increase lean mass more efficiently, strength training is the one for you. Strength training is a very important component of fitness and overall health for everyone. The pros: you get super strong. You also build muscle. You increase your bone strength and density, reducing the risk of osteoporosis. You improve your balance, particularly as you get older, which prevents falling and injury. The cons: can be a bit heavy going on the nervous system as you are always working towards your max. You can get bored because the strength routines haven't got a whole lot of variety. Muscles won't develop as well as if targeted training were performed because you are not doing direct work on particular muscles such as forearms or calves. Hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is actually the process of growing stronger and bigger muscles in training. If you want to bulk up your muscles and gain size, then you need to know about hypertrophy and how you will incorporate it into your training. So the pros: you will end up looking great, achieve the physique of bodybuilders. You get to understand the working of the body and the muscles. There is a lot of variety with hypertrophy training, which makes it much more fun and interesting. The cons: you do develop strength, but not as much as with strength training, so it does not always bode well for those people who play sports. Your muscles can experience extreme soreness. Strength training does that too, but not as bad as hypertrophy training, which is usually aimed at certain muscles being met with resistance from a variety of angles. Hypertrophy is also time-consuming. When you have to hit so many muscles so frequently to get that body beautiful, it takes time, and a lot of people can't commit to that time. If you want to work on both types, a good suggestion is to work on them periodically, following a program, say of doing strength training for 6 to 8 weeks, and then doing hypertrophy training for 6 weeks, and so on. The best of both worlds. Push yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. Hopefully that made sense to you, ladies. And I do a combination of both strength and hypertrophy. I don't want to get big because I don't want my clothes to not fit. I really do prefer strength because it gives me more confidence, but I also want to rock my tank tops in the summer. So I do a little bit of hypertrophy as well. Thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, please share it with a friend. And if you have any other topics that you would like me to discuss on a future episode, please feel free to email me at Tracee@highenergygirl.com. Go out and make it a great day, everyone. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guest specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion and I could be wrong.